So I'm back at it again, making more crosses, and I'm about to mix up some copper. It's pretty popular. Popular? It's it's a popular color. Popular color. Anyway, I'm gonna mix it up. I'm gonna show you because like this part of my favorite part of the process. So I'm gonna mix this up a little bit, and we're gonna watch this mesmerizing event, and then we'll pour it in the mold. So I'm just gonna dump some out in here. That's normally what I'd normally do for a cross this size, but I'm going in a bigger one, so I'm gonna dump quite a bit more out. And we're gonna really copperize this one. That's quite a bit. Here, let's go a little bit more. That gives me a little bit left over. So I have, sorry, it's the little flakes that get everywhere if I don't move it over. I have enough now just to do a smaller cross, well, a medium one actually, if I need to again, but I'm gonna mix this back over here so some of the particles don't float into there. All right, so we got clear epoxy mixed up, part of A and part of B of tabletop epoxy, which I got right here. This may be the last time I do it because although it says like little to no VOCs, I can smell it and it stinks. But the other epoxy I've used don't stink. But anyway, let's just watch this. It's going slow, but I like the part where it like sucks into the epoxy and just kind of like starts to mix together. And you can see it right here in the middle. It's about to suck down, and that's the fun part. And there it goes. Now all this powder I gotta get unclumped up and mixed in well with the liquid so there's no powder particles in there. It's kind of like cake batter if you think of it that way. I have the eggs already beaten in there, and I just poured in the cake batter, which is the powder. Now I got to get some powder all mixed up into the cake batter and have a smooth liquid so we can have a good looking cake with no clumps. So that's kind of what I'm doing here. See, it's too clumpy, I got to keep going. And so I'll try to dunk it some, a little bit. But you can see particles, if you look real close, floating up out of the container, which I don't really want to do because it's going to get these pigment colors everywhere. So I try to keep it underneath a little and just let it pull down into the liquid, but sometimes it wants to be stubborn and doesn't always do it the way you want. So sometimes you gotta dip it, like get it on the top and push it down the surface. There you go. See, some of it's kind of blended in now, but like the stuff over there on the top side, I gotta come over here and push it down, push it down and get it in there because it don't want to go on its own. So I gotta help speed up the process a little bit. Scrape up the walls a little bit. Once I get it all in there, doesn't mean it's ready to go. I still got to mix for a couple minutes maybe to get it all good and blended. So we're just going to do this for a minute or so, and then we'll pour it. Look at that. It's still not blended too well though, I can tell. But I like it how it leaves like the black lines and stuff in there. They end up disappearing later on, but it's pretty cool. As you're mixing it, you can see it. And I just have one of these small paddle mixers that are crafty ones. So you want to mix with a mixer unless you're doing it with a straight up stick the whole time, because you got to scrape the walls and the bottom. So what I'm going to do here in just a second is I'm going to switch from a paddle mixer to a stick. So I'm going to get some of this off here so I'm not wasting all this as I put it out of the cup. And then I'm going to mix it with a stick. Show you how I like scrape up the walls and stuff like this. My dang daughter down there wants to be heard in my video, so she got to scream real loud. Hear me, hear me. And then I'll put her on video unless she wants to run from it. It's like, come on dude, if you want to be on the video so bad and I put you on there, now you run. Alright, so you're using the edge of this to go up against the edge of the cup, and we're just going to scrape it right off all the walls. And I didn't have a mixing container big enough, so I just used one of my old Texas Rangers cups to mix this in. That's why you see the baseball stitches on the inside of this cup here. And we're going to get the sides mixed up really, really well, blend it in. And then once I get enough of this blended in, then I'm going to use the bottom of the stick to scrape the bottom as I run a couple circles around here. And scraping the bottom, trying to incorporate that unmixed epoxy on the bottom into this big layer that I got above it. And I can tell how bubbly it is there's still a little bit of clumps left, and I don't want to pour those clumps into my mold here because you will see them and it's unmixed, and you don't want to do that. So I'm going to mix for another minute or so combined, and then it should be well blended. But you also want to check your temperature too. So I want to pour out around 95, and I'm already at 105. I got to speed this up because this thing's about to get way too hot. So I'll be right back in just a minute. Okay, I got it well mixed in, well blended, but I'm super hot right now. I'm sitting at 108 degrees, so I should have poured this out 10 degrees ago. So that being said, I'm going to try to angle my hand on this side so y'all can see me. I'm going to pour this out. I'm going to start at the top and come around the edges. And then come down here because this fills up a lot of volume right here. There we go. That's to thicken that cross up real quick. There we go. And this is a flared cross, a 15-inch. Bought the mold from Crafted Elements. Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice. Look at that. Yeah, that's going. I like this. You see how the dark blacks are in there, and they're just like moving on their own now. But I'm gonna scrape this cup out because look in there. I don't want to waste all that epoxy, so let me scrape that off the walls and into the form. I know it's not a lot, but every little bit counts. Hold on a second. Hey, shut that door and be quiet. Get out of here. Y'all got kids? Yeah, well, they're annoying. Not your kids, but mine are. If you have kids, you probably agree with me. That's most of it. I'm going to scrape it one more time and get this. There we go. And then I just use the edge of the cup, the lip, to pour it off there. That's another little drip. Oops. And yeah, I know I just wasted this cup, but you know what? I have like no joke, like 40 of them, so I'm okay with losing one cup. Anyway, the cool part coming up next is I get to pop all these bubbles. But I don't want this glue on them once in my way. Course, lightly go over this, pop the bubbles, although it's already hot. But I can't be on it too quick, I will burn it, and then I'm gonna come back and pour some isopropyl alcohol on it to pop the rest of the bubbles and to cool the cross off. You can see how it's like popping those bubbles. You can't see them, but there's a bunch of micro bubbles right there at the top, and they also like to stick to these edges. All right, that's it. I'm done with the torch. If I stay on it, it's gonna mess it up. This is the coolest part. I love this part right here. Check it out. And then you just watch it like do these little bubble effects and stuff like that. I got one little squirt, one more. And then I'm just gonna leave this alone. I'm gonna let it cure now. I'm gonna put a box over it as it's curing so no little air contaminants get into it or hairs or anything like that. But I love this part, the exothermic reaction. You literally can watch it as it's happening, and it's so cool. See the edges, how it's like coming over. That's so neat.
I see them all like popping and moving.
Yeah, so what it's doing is you can see it popping the micro bubbles. I mean, it's almost hard to see with the naked eye, but it's popping a little bitty bubbles, and it's also like reacting the part A and part D now that it's mixed together because it's starting the curing process, and it just creates its own little design. It moves, and I don't know, I could just sit here and watch this thing as it moves. It starts to slow down eventually though as it cures up. Man, look at that. That's going to be a pretty cross, an epoxy copper cross. So tomorrow when it cures up, I'll round the edges, run them over, then I'll come back and do a clear coat, and then put a door hanger on the, or not a door, a nail hanger on the back, and it'll be finished. And this is the other one I'm working on too right now, is this little blue one here. This is a simple blue. So if you look earlier, I posted a little short video of just this one. But anyway, there's this one. Looks good. Can't wait for it to be finished. It's gonna look very nice. And there you have it, 15-inch flared copper epoxy cross. Hit me up if you want to buy one.